He couldn't be with us tonight, so we're going to ask Pastor Tom Price of Roxanne if he would lead us in invocation.
Let's bow our head, please. Father, I thank you for another privilege of approaching your throne of grace through that wonderful name of your Son, Jesus, my Savior. And I thank you for this beautiful day that you blessed us with. Thank you, God, for the fact that every day your mercies are renewed. Pray that you'd bless this gathering. And Lord, we thank you for a city where you're still honored, Lord, as people bow their heads and humble their heart. May you bless this council that is met. Thank you for the gift that you have given these people, Lord, to govern, and I pray that you would guide them with your wisdom and with your grace. Pray, Lord, that you would bless those that are here to be honored tonight. Thank you for their achievements and their accomplishment. And may you bless their families, God. We pray, Lord, that you keep your hand of mercy upon us, your grace is about us. We'll be sure to give you the thanks for all things, because we ask you in that name above every name, in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Cunningham is in a conference this week. I'll be presiding over the meeting this evening. The first order of our business is a roll call, so Clerk Faulkner will take the roll, please.
Mike Scipio.
Here.
Greg Hudson.
Here.
Doug Fleshman.
Here.
Greg Wolf.
Here.
Connie Thompson.
Present.
Jim Hughes.
Here.
Linda Vargas.
I'm here.
Chris Seaborn.
Here. We do have a quorum present, so I'll declare the meeting,
Thank you.
yeah, so take it easy. Also, Steve Swisher will not be able to be with us tonight. He's under the weather. He will not be with us. Next order of business is the approval of the minutes for the May 6th, 2019 meeting.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of May 6, 2019.
Second. Proper motion has been made. A proper second is in order. And is there any questions, comments on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item on our agenda is some presentation and recognitions, and the first one is a promotion of our police officer. And we would ask, is Owen Harper here tonight? Owen, would you come forward? I'm going to mention the oath, but in the absence of the mayor, I would ask you that you repeat after me. I, Owen R. Barker,
I, Owen R. Barker,
do hereby certify
do hereby certify
that I have been duly promoted
that I have been duly promoted
to the rank of sergeant
to the rank of sergeant
for the police department of the city of Dunbar,
for the police department of the city of Dunbar,
West Virginia,
West Virginia,
by Mayor William Cunningham
by Mayor William Cunningham
on this 16th day of May,
on the 16th day of May,
2019.
2019.
And as such,
And as such,
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of West Virginia,
and the state of West Virginia,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the rank of sergeant
of the office of the rank of sergeant
for the police department of the city of Dunbar,
for the police department of the city of Dunbar,
and will obey all orders
and will obey all orders
by the chief of police
by the chief of police
of the city of Dunbar
of the city of Dunbar
or his representatives
or his representatives
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. We also have another presentation this evening that we'd like to make. We have a young man with us, Zachary Bishop. Zachary, would you stand? Zachary's a resident of Dunbar. He resides on Pine Circle with his family. He's a senior at South Charleston High School. And Friday, Zachary will graduate from South Charleston High School as the class valedictorian. Very proud of Zach and appreciate his accomplishments, and especially for being a resident of Dunbar. And we'd ask him if he would also come forward. We got a little presentation for him. This is a certificate of appreciation. You're being recognized, Zachary Bishop, by the City of Dunbar for your outstanding achievement as valedictorian of South Charleston High School, class of 2019. It's signed by our mayor. And I've got, I had the privilege of standing on this step cut. I had the privilege of watching him grow up, and I got to look down on him a lot, but not anymore. And really appreciate his family, and when I heard that he was going to be the valedictorian of South Charleston High School, it's got to be appropriate we recognize him, and we'd like to present this to him. And again, we thank you. If you'd like to say anything, and let's share with you what his plans were for next year to introduce his family. So if you would introduce your family.
Yeah, with me today are my parents, Jeff and Noka Bishop, and then also my sister, McKenna Bishop. And I'm planning on going to Marshall University next year to be a civil engineer. I'd like to thank anyone that had part in me being here today, being able to come here today. It's a pleasure to stand in front of you to represent South Charleston High School as their valedictorian. I've grown up in Dunbar, and I went to the schools my whole life, so I'd like to also thank the school system, teachers and stuff for me being here today.
Okay, the next item on our agenda this evening, invoices to be submitted for payment.
Mr. Chairman, our invoices for this period total $119,066.09. Motion be paid as invoices.
Proper motion has been made. Proper second has been made. Is there any questions on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. These invoices are available for anyone that'd like to see them in the clerk's office. Next item on our agenda is under ordinances and resolutions. First item is the second reading of ordinance 777, and Clerk Alderman will read that.
Ordinance 777, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, section 721.08 of the Colorado Ordinance of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, as amended, be amended and reenacted as follows. And this is requiring new license. If you are making deliveries in the City of Dunbar, you have to get business license to do that. And President Council, we need to do a roll call.
We'll do a roll call vote, so the clerk will also do that.
You want to do a motion?
We have to have a motion first. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
We have a proper motion and second on that ordinance, and Clerk Faulkner will do the roll call vote.
Mike Skibia,
Yes.
Greg Hudson,
Yes.
Doug Fleshman,
Yes.
Greg Wolf,
Yes.
Bonnie Thompson,
Yes.
Jim Hughes,
Yes.
Linda Boggs.
Yes.
Motion carried. It will be adopted. Next item is the second reading of ordinance 778. Clerk Walker will read that.
Ordinance 778 is an ordinance to be ordained by the City Council of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, that's section 1705 of Part 17, Building and Housing Code of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Dunbar. This is amending all the FAR codes with the state, correct, Chief?
To come in line with the state.
Just passing the state legislature.
Yes.
It also requires a roll call vote, so I need a motion to accept.
Make a motion. Second.
Yes, a proper motion and second. Second was by Greg Wolf. Motion was made by Mike Stuckey. Roll call vote.
Mike Scipio,
Yes.
Doug Fleshman,
Yes.
Greg Hudson,
Yes.
Greg Wolf,
Yes.
Bonnie Thompson,
Yes.
Jim Hughes,
Yes.
and Linda Boggs.
Yes.
Motion carried. Unanimous. Will be adopted. The third item on the ordinances and resolution is approval for the first reading of ordinance 779.
Mr. Chairman, before clerk reads that, do you care to speak to the need for this?
Please do.
After reading, I'll make some other comments as well.
Please do.
If you've read your agenda, and she'll read this in a moment, but it's an ordinance looking at changing the municipal fees in the city of Dunbar. I'll explain to you as citizens how we got here and what we're dealing with. In the city of Dunbar, we have a localized fireman's pension. And we had the same for the police. About 6 years ago, it was dealt with. What's happened with the fireman's pension, let me lay out from the very beginning, this is not the fault of the fire department. The fire department, simply they are hired on, they sign a contract, they do their job to take care of us. And in turn, we made a contract with them to fund their pension. For the last, there's debate whether it's 20 years or 30 years, but for the last 20-some years, there's been warnings that the localized pension, the way it was set up, was not funded properly, and it's been pushed down the road though. After each 4-year cycle, just pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. We're to the point now where it's a $13.6 million unfunded liability, which is over double our annual budget for the city. And so if you quickly do the math in your head, if there's no addressing this issue, the payments to it are near $500,000 a year now. They would balloon to $1 billion in just a few years. And you're looking in the next 5 to 10 years insolvency, or that's the kind word, the other word's bankruptcy on that fund. So we looked this year how to correct the problem. We started with, first of all, a couple things before we get to this. We started with, number one, we as a council approved that beginning July 1, any new hires will not go into this localized plan, but they'll still go into the state plan that other firemen and police officers from around the state of West Virginia are in. It's the same concept as with insurance. You have a larger pool, it's more manageable. It's just the same way you can't afford to pay for your own heart attack if you're in insurance with 1,000 other people. So the new hires will go into that, which means the current pension is closed. It doesn't mean that the bank account's closed, it's drained out, it means it's closed to new hires. And the fire has been involved in this. It's not what they would wish for, but they understand the reality as well. If we don't address it, you keep putting more into the same system, it'll collapse on those that are currently here. So that was step one. Step two is to restructure the pension. We have two choices. We have three. You can stay where we're at, but it's heading towards bankruptcy. So we had two choices to restructure. One is to make it a simple term, would be to restructure, like if you're going to, say if your house loan, you went from a balloon mortgage to a 15-year mortgage. That's the wisest way to go. But some people can't afford 15, so they have to finance 25 or 30. What we're doing is switching from the balloon payment to the longer term, that it's not the perfect one. The perfect one that would have paid it off and had it solvent in about 20 years would take an increase from near $500,000 a year now to $800,000 starting July 1. which is an insurmountable amount of money for our city. So we went with Plan B, which also is restructuring, is to try to restructure the whole thing, get it paid down, but it would also increase our funding to about 700,000 a year. But that does keep us from the 1 billion wall that we were facing. So we've done two things. First was close to new hires. Second is restructure the current pensioners and the current employees that they'll be retiring to. The third factor in this is funding, because out of our general revenue and our general budget, we are increasing each year. We're coming into this year putting in 500,000 a year, but we need 700,000. That's being paid out of our B&O and 1%, and then all the other small fees. The state of West Virginia severely restricts cities on how they can generate funds. We cannot assess a city income tax or anything like that. What they primarily fund cities by is B&O, and secondary is some property tax. And then next down the line is your 1% for home rule cities, which we are. And then you have a lot of small things like building permits and stuff like that. But if you do your math fast too, you realize building permits aren't going to pay $200,000 a year, those kind of things. So one other option we have is municipal fees, because the municipal fee is for fire and police in the streets. And so there is one other option. I mentioned this in finance. Beyond the municipal fee, there is one other option, but I don't think any of our citizens want it. And we as council are not a fan of it either. And that would be the user fee, like Charleston did. And nobody likes that. The workers don't like it. Citizens don't like it. Council doesn't like the idea. So the last thing left, the only other financial option is, well, there is one other option. You could cut the budget $200,000 a year. That would mean services would be cut as well. Your garbage pickup would be less. You'd have less people working at City Hall. I mean, you can't shave off paper clips to get $200,000. So we've come to this point, and the clerk at the president's request will read the ordinance. And then after that, if you don't mind, I'll come back and explain the changes to the ordinance to show you exactly how much the change is, how the billing cycle will be. But that's why we're at this point tonight. There's been some discussion that this council is just interested in raising the fees and things. We're addressing a situation that should have been addressed 2 decades ago. And if it's not addressed, we'll have bankruptcy, which then means lawsuits and big problems. So we're trying to actually solve the problem as we work through this.
Thank you, Councilman Preston, and at this time, Connie Faulkner, the clerk, will read the ordinance.
Be ordained by the City Council of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, that Part 7 Business and Taxable Code, Subpart 759 Municipal Service Fee, Subparagraph 759.01 Assessment of Municipal Service Fee of the Qualified Ordinance of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, as amended.
I would entertain a motion at this time.
So moved. Second.
Proper motion has been made and seconded, and this requires a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Speak to it for a second.
Yes.
Speak to it to explain in common English. If you read it, it can get a little confusing. What this will entail is 2 changes to your municipal fee. First is in the billing cycle. Right now, you get billed for trash and municipal fees once a quarter. And the current rate is $75 a quarter, which is $25 a month. It's easy to figure out, but you're billed quarterly. This first ordinance would change the municipal fee from quarterly to monthly. The next ordinance would change your trash fee. It comes in one bill, but change your trash fee from quarterly to monthly as well. So the first change is the billing cycle. This will go into effect October. July, you'll still get one last quarterly billing in the old rate. This will take effect in your October billing cycle. The second thing it changes is the amount. Right now, if you break it down monthly, you're paying $25 a month as citizens. This would increase the municipal fee $5, which would make it that you would be paying $30 a month. And the way the ordinance is written then, the sentence says, $5 per month of the municipal fee collected shall be set aside in a special account to offset the cost of monthly mailing of municipal fees and funding of the unfunded liability of the fireman's pension. So the extra $5 would all go into a fund. The only thing taken back and deducted out of that $5 is the extra expenses for going from quarterly to monthly, which right now would be $16,000 a year to increase the billing cycle. So the remainder of that would go to this fund for the firemen. In a 4-quarter year, this year we'll have 3 quarters because it starts in October. But in a 4-quarter year, if we have 85% of the citizens, we would love to have 100%. But if 85% of the citizens and businesses paid this, and the business actually goes up a little more, then that would generate $200,000 a year to match to go with our 500 out of the general budget to give us the 700,000 we need to fund this pension and to keep it solvent, and so it be fully funded by 2035 or 45? 2045, again, and it would stave off the dire crisis. So that's the common language of what the clerk was reading. It's a change from quarterly to monthly, and it would change essentially the rate from 25 a month to 30 a month, with all of that other than the extra postage going into the firemen's pension funds.
Good. Proper motion has been made and seconded. Is there any other comments? Voice vote, so all those in favor, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
I have here, I recuse myself from the vote, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'd like to comment why. And I am a recipient of a pension from the Dunbar Fire Department. And so I thought it'd be better that I not vote on this issue. But I am in favor of this issue, this ordinance, because it has to be done. This is something that the city administrations in the past have dodged for years and years and years, and they were begged and begged to correct it. And they wouldn't do it. They always found other ways to spend their monies. Because I was on the Dunbar Pension Fund for years. So it has come down to this administration and this mayor to do something about it, and that's why they have to enact this increase in the service fees. I know it's a bad thing, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I don't like it, but I have to vote for it, or I am in favor of my vote, excuse me. I am in favor of it because they are trying to do something, and it has to be done by state law.
Thank you, Councilman. This was the first reading of the ordinance. It will have to be read a second time at the next council. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the first reading of ordinance 780.
Being ordained by the City Council of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, that Part I, Streets, Utilities, and Public Service Code, Subpart 951, Refuge Collections, Subparagraph 951.05A, rates of the qualified ordinance of the City of Dunbar, West Virginia, as amended.
This, you have any comments on it?
Mr. Chair, if I could just also make sure everybody is clear on this. This is the refuge side, and the reason we have to adjust this ordinance is, again, this is not change. The change in your money is on the municipal side, but since they're billed together, this means your trash should be billed monthly also in one bill instead of quarterly, so therefore it has to be amended. And also it does itemize the rates for businesses. For example, your family rates for either a renter or homeowner is 17 a month. So 17 a month for trash, 13 a month for municipal fee, making your $30. The businesses, they have a different rate depending on whether they receive trash pickup once, twice, 3, 4 times a week. So that's itemizing this as well. So this doesn't affect your costs, but it does affect when you get billed. And Councilman Fleischman is fine with voting on this because there's no benefit to him other than trash, which is a benefit to all of us.
The ordinance has been read, and we'll entertain a motion this time.
So moved.
Second. Got a proper motion. A proper motion made and seconded by Scipio and Fleshman. Are there any comments, questions on that motion? If not, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is reports from our officers, and we're going to start with the Recreation Department, Bob Jones, tonight first.
Thank you, Council citizens. Just a few things coming up. The pool will be open this weekend for Memorial Day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Hours of operation will be 12 to 7. Drive down, take a look over it. The pool's looking pretty good. Thanks for the picture, man. Open those 3 days, we'll be closed until school's out. We'll open up for the summer on June 1st. We'll be operating Wednesday through Monday, closed Tuesday for pool, maintenance, operation, anything we gotta do. Also June 1st, we'll have wrestling at the rec center again. Doors open at, bell time is at 7. And then June 8th, we got Kids Day to the park, and that's gonna be at Winesville Park down in Little Anderson Lake from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll do a fishing tournament, hot dogs, s'mores, BB gun range, a few other things will be going on that day.
Thank you. Anybody have any question for Bob Jones?
We still losing money on that pool?
Well, you don't make money on the pool anyway.
I mean, if we're in such a financial squeeze, why are we involved in that swimming pool when we lose money every year? I mean, that doesn't make common sense.
That's always, I can't.
It's a service for our kids. It's a service for our kids to have a place to swim. You don't lose money every year.
Well, that's not good business wise, losing money.
The Parks and Rec does not make money. If you do an event, you break even, you did good. Like I said, it's a service we've done and been doing it for 40-some years.
Would like to speak to that. Yes, you're correct, we lose money. So we do have some choices. We could have no pool. That's one choice. But many citizens want pool. Second choice is there was a discussion to have our own pool separate from that one. If you go that route, to build our own separate from having this agreement with Kanawha County is $1 million minimum to construct a pool. And so the third choice is what we've done. Now, if there's enough complaints and people will voice that they don't want a pool anymore, then that's a different story. But at the present, there's a desire for a pool. And anytime, any city that has a pool, you figure on losing $50,000 a year. And like it's been mentioned, that's considered any park is a service to your citizens. You don't make money on any park. I mean, because even if it's a free park and there's just a swing set there, it costs tax money to build swing sets, and you have yard mowers mowing once a week, insurance on it. So it comes down to all of us as citizens deciding how much do we want for our community and what do we want to cut. But we do lose money.
My comment also that if you go over at Wine Cellar Park, the new restrooms are nearly complete, look very good. They're mowed. It's nice over there. Dunbar City Park looks nice up there. They've got a new handicap ADA compliant swing set up there. It's new concrete up there.
The swing set is not open.
It's not open, but it's there. You can see it. There's a lot of really good things going on in our recreational parks. So appreciate the effort as well.
Can somebody explain to me why,
Pardon that.
can somebody explain to me why are we only in charge of the pool, certain shelters? I mean, why don't we have it all? Why can't we turn it back over to the county?
The Kanawha County owns the park, and when I'll briefly explain it, and we'll move on. But when Jack Yeager was mayor, the pool had major problems. It's leaking very bad, and he had an agreement to allow us to go down to Shawnee Park and operate that pool. So we did that, and we've continued to do that since then. Kanawha County allowed us to manage all of Shawnee Park for a while, but when they decided to do the sports complex, they took that part of it over. We now manage the pool and the shelters out front. Any questions, Mike?
Yes, I do. You've been sitting here talking about the different parks. The city park Hill. When was the last time something went on up there?
We had a conference there in February that we had 65 participants, and they actually paid the city $1.
I mean, I go up there, I see building going on, all kinds of maintenance going on, shelters being built. The original structure at the back of it's basically, to my knowledge, shut up.
It's rented out practically every weekend, if I understand. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anytime I had ever been up there, I used to go up there and walk my dogs, you know, when my house was being shown, and I have never, ever run into another soul up there. I mean, I can understand, you know, Shawnee, the wine cellar, but it seems like that's where everything's, being concentrated on, and I don't know of any use up there, so I was just curious.
I've been doing a lot of construction up there.
Yeah, I know, I've seen a lot of it going on, the dogs, and I've been
There's
up
always kids and parents up there playing while we're working.
there. I've yet to see a soul up there.
Yeah, they're out there swinging.
And this has been, weekends when the
Okay,
house
we're gonna
was
move
shut.
on.
I'm up
Next,
there.
next department we're gonna go into is building inspector, Hugh Leishman, if you would.
Thank you, Mayor, council, citizens. The best news I have is Steve Swisher, who unfortunately not here tonight, is got me 2 new deeds to houses that I can tear down. So tomorrow I'll be calling the asbestos testing company to get those tested. One of them will be torn down by Matt's guys, probably next week. Okay. And we're going to use that as our match for the grant we got from DEP for this fiscal year. And I have the new grant paperwork sitting on my desk for the 1920 fiscal year. So I'll be working on that this week, because it's due next week, to get that another $5,000 to tear down another house. And hopefully by the end of the week, you'll have another one ready for me to go to. So hopefully this week we'll have 3 houses ready to tear down. I've been getting a lot of calls about people living in properties that don't have any utilities. Keep the calls coming in. We check them all. Sometimes takes a little bit longer than others because I get different accounts from neighbors and stuff, but and the electric companies not real forthcoming with information since I don't live there. But just keep the calls coming. We're trying to clean up the homeless and drug problem. And it takes everybody's attention.
Where are those houses? Where are those houses that are being torn down? Where are the houses that are?
136 8th Street is now ours. I can tell who's fighting on that. 125 March Road, which is kind of isolated, but it's bad. And then 135 Dunbar Avenue is the one I'm waiting on the deed for right now. We did some work behind it a year or so ago and tore down a 2-story apartment complex or building, and we're now going to tear down the front of it. So I've got a list. My county's got 5 also around town. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be kind stable. I'll take any questions.
What about the lots that we've already toured out there?
Connie marketed those with the realtor and didn't get much result, so I'm not really sure what power they have. One of them, somebody said they owned it rather than us, and Steve and I discussed it, and they're wrong. But they wanted to sell it back to us. Go ahead, Steve. But we'll get results eventually. They're not costing us anything. $5 for all of everything. Mike, question?
Thank you, Mr. Leishman. Matt Dawson is our assistant director of the city.
Council, citizens, right now we're going to do some paving, finish up this week, some holes that we had around town. We get this patched up and concreted up, and as Mr. Lee said, we're going to sit down on tearing down the one on 8th Street. Any questions at this time?
In the next 5 years, are we ever going to get 16th Street and Dunbar Avenue paved?
That is a state road that's not in my control.
Thank you, Matt. Public Works Department, Scott Elliott.
Council, everybody. We've just been extremely busy, as you all noticed. They're getting, so far this year, we've got 16,445 tons of garbage out of town. We're averaging 300 tons a month, on top of getting all the grass cut, all the beautification league stuff done, all the other stuff going on that's City Park and everywhere else. So we're extremely busy. 4 calls in today, still had a lot done. If anybody has anything, I'll take it at this time.
We would like to thank you for the beautification committee for picking the trees up that have been hauled out of some of these older buildings.
Y'all keeping me busy.
You gotta cut this old, that brush out before we can make these
Right.
fire beds look good again. We've given him a mountain of brush to haul away. We appreciate it.
We're getting it.
Scott Curtis had a question in the back.
Curtis,
Hey,
long time no see.
yeah, who's responsible for the signposts around here?
Well, it'll be me, so you probably need to see me after the meeting and tell me what your concerns are and I can take care of them.
There's a signpost right out here next to the wood shop,
Or,
and it's been over the sidewalk. Me and them
Oh,
about
okay.
had a run in this morning.
well, I would make a joke, but I'm not going to. He would do it to me, then. I'll see what I can do about straightening it up. How's that?
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Fire Chief is Chris Thornhill.
Good evening, everyone. We are still, I know y'all get tired of hearing me, we're still working on ISO preparation. That is tentatively scheduled for the last week in August. Sounds like a long way away, but for us, we will just get done in getting everything we need to get done in their format. And we have hopes. The last time we were just a few points from our next classification. I cannot and will not make you a promise, but I can tell you we're doing everything we can, every little way we can. We're even working on some extra credit, trying to get us over that hump, try to get the city into the next cheaper rate of homeowner insurance. I attended a workshop I told you all about last time from DEP about Anderson Dam, and that emergency evacuation plan for that is being reworked along with an update to the whole city plan. That'll be presented to council soon. Today, we got the final totals in on our autism awareness t-shirt program that we did. And after all of our costs involved, we came up with $2,100 profit. Now, that profit today was equally distributed by these guys back here to the 3 local schools here in town, $700 checks given to primary, intermediate, and the middle school. And we do not know yet what those projects will be used for, but they're supposed to let us know. But they are earmarked specifically for autism and in those particular rooms and programs. So we're really proud of that. We thank the community for your support of that. One last thing, we were trying last year to get all 50 states. We did get all 50 states, the purchase of all 50 states. And with
Good deal.
with that, that's all I have, but I'll take any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Chris. Last is our police chief, William Moss.
Good evening, Mr. President, clerk, council, citizens, guests. Wanted to start off saying last week was National Police Week. That was, last year there was 163 line of duty deaths for law enforcement. This year we're up to 44. That's actually down 43% from this time last year. The average age of an officer was 43. The average duty time of an officer was 13 years. Some of them were shot, some drowning, falls, just variants of deaths in line of duty. That's really all I have. I'd like to thank the Women's Club. If you're in the Women's Club, raise your hand. It's about half the audience. They made a bunch of cookies, not just for the police department, for the reserves, free some on cars. I was appreciated. They brought it to us on Wednesday. And outside of that, we have 2 officers that are on light duty that have been assigned junk abandoned vehicles. It used to be we knocked on the door and write you a ticket, and a lot of people weren't coming to court, and there was no teeth in that. So they filed already 17 with the clerk of court for a summons, and if you don't come to court on that, a arrest warrant will be issued, and we'll come deal with it. So if you have a junk abandoned car, I'm urging you to get it in a cover, an appropriate approved cover, out of the city, or get it with it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we've been seeing a lot of panhandling, especially on the interstate now. What can we do regarding?
The one gentleman was over there earlier today. I spoke with him, and actually I listened to him more than what I could or couldn't do about the ACLU and all that. If he's that side of 10th Street, he's on what they call the interstate system. See, there would be a pedestrian on the interstate system. If you're on public streets, there's not a whole lot we can do with that. We need to probably tighten up some ordinances.
Well, I do know that
it is a First Amendment right to be able to stand there and ask for money and stuff. However, if they're soliciting, panhandling, or begging on busy streets or intersections or high traffic areas, they could be considered a public danger. Do we not have an ordinance for public danger? We can just tell them they cannot be on 10th Street or.
We have been moving them on, especially if they're on interstate system, that is crime itself. It's pretty much a traffic offense. Ones we have been seeing or getting calls on, we have been talking to them, identifying them. I haven't seen any repeat people, but if we see them, we ask for a second call.
We're just seeing a
So
lot of.
you do want us to call them?
We want people to call. We discussed that in neighborhood watch. We want everyone to call 911. Just forget about the 348-8111. 911, call.
That one lady is there quite often.
She was with the guy today.
And today, she had traffic stop, because she was over on the right side, and they threw the money at her, she dropped it, and then I was nice, I didn't run her over. You know, she had literally a traffic stop.
She is
I offered her one,
with
she
that
heard.
male. And they take breaks.
Okay.
We have given them further warnings today. If you or anyone else sees them out there, we'll proceed with being on interstate systems. That's good. We have done that in the past. If their sign says homeless, we prove that they're not homeless. That is obtaining money on a false pretense. We have charged people with that every year. Yeah.
So I know we do on the interstate part, but what about like, if they're on, say, 10th Street, Dunbar Avenue side where they're, I mean, it's not an interstate part, but it's a city, is that how?
Yeah, we have more people actually approaching citizens, one in Kroger's, one in Subway, doing it that way. And some of them can't get aggressive, then we actually do stand on the side of the road.
So if we see any of that anywhere in the city, we need to call you. Okay.
Call 911.
Thank you.
Thanks again, the Women's Club.
Again, just reinforce 911, call 911 if you see illegal activity going on, if you see suspicious activity going on. And I just talked to Bill about that today. Suspicious activity is somebody doing something such as snooping in a car or trying to open a car. It's not walking down the street or back, unfortunately. But if you see suspicious or illegal activity, please call 911. Appreciate our department heads and their presentations. Do we have any public comments at this time?
I have a question. Do this vacant building, vacant property owners, are they taxed, are they required to pay municipal fees if there's a vacant building there? Yes. Some cities do, because they still have access to fire, police. The police are still required to go if there's someone in the house. Fire department still has to go. A lot of times trash has to be picked up. Are they still assessed these fees just like homeowners who have people in their home?
It's in the ordinance.
If you call and say, I'm going to Florida for 6 months and we won't have the trash, they'll suspend your trash for the period you're gone. You're still getting assessed a municipal fee because, like you said, if the place catches on fire, the firemen have to respond. If somebody breaks in, the police have to respond.
So these vacant businesses in Dunbar currently are being billed,
There's a building on the property, they're being billed.
and they're paying their fees.
I can't say that they're paying. They're already paying.
Supposed to be paying their fees even though there's no occupancy or no.
If they're vacant long enough, they get assessed the vacant property.
Which is higher than
They encourage us to get rented or get rid of one or the other.
Yeah, I think I saw a question over here.
Yeah, I think it's probably, Greg, you're probably the guy to answer this one. In regards to the fireman's pension fund, you mentioned the $5 additional. It's going to bring us up to about 200,000 at 85% collection. Where are we right now as far as collection percentage?
That's where, and how we arrived at that number was where we are at present. We were about 50 to 60% a year ago.
Okay.
And between two things, primary, a collection agency that has welcomed a lot of not only when you get a lawyer from a letter, it usually wakes you up, but also it wakes your neighbors and friends that are also trying to cop out as well, wakes them up because word spreads. So that has generated, and in fact, it's already generated 29,000 into their fireman's pension fund. And that's not much for that, but it's getting the ball rolling. Second is in the clerk's office, there's an employee that's pretty much designated to that now to keep track of it. So it has come up to right at the 85% margin. So that's why we arrived at that number. We would love to shoot for 100.
Sure.
And
What about, what if we don't hit that number? Because you mentioned it was 200,000. That's razor thin when you're talking about 5 and 2.
And again, two things. One is on our side three things on our side to continue to try to do better. I was just talking to the clerk a while ago, trying to brainstorm ways we can do better at keeping track of the residents as far as cross-checking with their sewer bills and things. Still got to work on that, but that's one on our side. Number two is on the citizen side to just get a culture change, because the culture has been, I don't want to pay, I don't have to pay.
Right.
And everybody realizes if you're skipping that out, you're not only cutting the firemen and policemen in their day-to-day operations, because that's what the other $8 of the 13 does, but you're also hurting all these guys that are either are retired or going to retire. So we have to change a culture in our city is another factor. And then the third factor is just interest.
Right.
We're hoping they'll be invested. It's going to take about, we're at the present, it's going to take about $500,000 a year, what's in the budget, to actually pay pensioners. The other 200 is to build one to gain interest, because it'll be invested in state funds, which are conservative. We're not putting it in a mutual fund or things like, or individual stocks that will lose. It's a conservative investment, but you'll have some interest to generate so that if there's a catastrophic, say you have, again, these are things you don't want to talk about, but say you have 3 firemen in 1 year that have some major injury that causes them to go disabled early. That's what the 200,000 is to generate, hopefully in just a few years, up over $1 million with the interest on it, to have a catastrophic fund to keep as the 500. Again, that'll get a little bit bigger each year, what we actually pay the pensioners. But then also we're trying to prevent a collapse if there's catastrophic events in the fire department. So we use the interest as well. It's not a lot of interest because it's conservative. There's the 3 things: do better on our side, change the culture of the town, and then also to use some interest to generate a little more.
Got one more question. Is there anything else that any of you know of that we are currently kicking down the road, like we did with this fireman's pension fund? Anything else that's going to come up down the road where we?
No, I know from the sewer side, that's been done well. The sewer plant is approaching 20 years, Matt, is that correct?
Yeah, we're right at 19 years.
And of course, in one sense, they're under a separate board. The state helps regulate them, but they are solvent now. We did address that 6 months ago because they were also getting very red line on their money. And we addressed that because they have their own board to manage their day-to-day operations, but they can't change rates and how things are done. And actually, we were flagged in a state audit for not addressing rates. Okay. So we've come back and addressed that. So they're on track they're already back in the black, razor black, and razor thin, but they're on track for a progression. And also, they've only got their bonds are paid off on the plant now, correct?
No, they're 30-year ones.
Okay, so you got 10 more years on those, and they're on track
Well,
with it.
no, on the plant, yes, but we also have other construction projects that will be spent up at 15.
Mm-hmm.
Those also have 3-year ones.
That's on your lines in the ground.
Yes.
But those payments are on that now, because what happened is with the sewer side, you have to actually have a certain amount in reserves that you cannot touch in case, again, a catastrophic, you have to be able to make that bond payment.
1 year.
140
year reserve.
Yeah. And so they were getting where they were almost, and the state didn't allow them, but was going to need to tap into the reserves. But that's been turned around, and they maintain their plant excellence. So sewer is a massive expense to a town. So they're doing well. So I think that one's resolved. We're trying on this fire. Just because we're doing this doesn't mean that it's all going to work out. Right. And we're trying. Council may have, but I think those are the 2 major problems. Now, again, this will have to be addressed by the next council because inflation. I mean, every 5 years or so, this has to be addressed and fine-tuned. That's the problem. If you wait 20 years, it's major. If you fine-tune it every 5 years, even back to the sewer rates and things, That's why the last sewer increase, we built in 2 small increases in.
Next year and the year following.
Okay, those are 2 small ones so that we don't have to come back for a big chunk again. So I hope that answers your question, Joe. We're trying.
Question.
Going back to the municipal and the municipal and the garbage fee that, and you may not have the answer to this, but do you know what the payment increase was when we got an online payment system? Which has been what, 2-3 years that we got the online?
There's no increase in I'm aware
Of participation is what I meant, like an increase in participation.
Percentage, you mean?
Yes, like a
I'm sorry.
percentage, that's what I meant. Do you know if there was a percentage increase in participation when we got the online option? Do you know how many people, out of everybody that pays, how many people pay online versus how many people pay by mail? And I'm wondering if there's an option maybe to, if you pay online and you don't need it to be mailed out, is there some box we can check so that says you don't need to mail me a bill and that money can just go straight into that? I mean, these are just things I'm throwing out there, but I'm just wondering if maybe, because I can tell you right now that my payment regularity went up 150% when I was able to pay it online. And I just started paying, instead of paying $75 a quarter or whatever, $50 a quarter, I just split it up and I do it every month. You know.
And you're meaning, when you say online, because we don't receive online payments here, but you're meaning the ability as people in their bank to set up for recurring payments.
There's a link on it. And that's the other thing. How many people know that that's even an option? Because I stumbled across it.
I'm sure they can be added into our next flyer that we put out.
Because I pay both my municipal and my sewer fee online, and I know that there's an extra charge for it, but I'd rather do that and have it done than mail out another check, because I pay.
That charge is not reflected on this, that's what.
No, I know, I pay that to whoever the processing people are, and that's fine, and I know it's 3 times the price of a, well, it's actually about a little over twice the price of a stamp. But for me, I don't mail anything anymore, everything I do is online, so I'm just thinking that maybe making that, I mean, everybody knows it's available to everybody, but making it aware to everybody might help. Might be a big.
Into the percentage change, I don't have an answer.
We can put a reminder out on our monthly newsletter, we can put a reminder out, and we could, and she said it was on the website that it's.
Yeah, you go up and there's a, and you can pay like, if you get a ticket, you can pay tickets, you can pay sewer, you can pay municipal. But I wonder just how many people are even aware that that's an option.
No, she'll probably look it up and, she'll probably let you know.
They'll take a year in advance, you can pay.
We have a lot of people pay a year at a time.
We'll move on to councilman comments at this time. I've got a couple things I'd like to share with you from the mayor. This Friday at 4 o'clock at our city park up on top of the hill will be a dedication for the improvements in the city park, including the ADA wheelchair swing and the new shelter that's up there, and how much concrete is poured, but improvements of the restrooms. It's all going to be a dedication over on Friday, 4 o'clock, if you would like to come up to that. And also, he wanted me to share with you too that he's been in contact with the Canal Valley Ambulance Authority, and they have made an agreement, and they are going to build a new facility in Dunbar, and that facility will be located on the vacant lot of 16th Street in Dunbar Avenue. And the agreement's in place. They've already approved it. They're working with the finalizing the purchase of the property. I think it's on the charge number. So that is a done deal. How soon it'll happen, I don't know, but it is a done deal. And with that said, we'll go to council comments and start pricing it.
I just like the lady back here that asked a question about the swimming pool at Shawnee Park. The city is maintaining it year to year now for the citizens and kids who ever want to use it, especially from Dunbar. But the county just put $250,000 liner into that pool and everything, so it's good for a long ways in the future as far as any big maintenance costs or anything. They didn't mention that. Okay, county's paying the water bill and everything, I didn't know that, so they're paying all the expenses on the pool, other than the staff that we have down.
So it's just the staffing that is causing the loss?
The golf course was a huge amount of the loss.
Let's just talk about the pool, man.
Okay, move.
Okay.
Greg Hudson. I've talked to Dustin myself.
I have nothing to see.
Rick?
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out, and again, all of our department heads, and congratulations to Sergeant Barker and Zach, because he's already left. But I'd also like to thank Chief Moss. He signed with us up at the city of South Charleston for parade Saturday, and we had 2 vehicles in it. One was the Escalade, and he got quite a few comments about the sticker on the back, donated by a drug dealer, but got several comments, and I'd just like to thank him for letting us enter those 2 vehicles in the parade. That's it.
I was at the parade, and it was a very good turnout, and they represented Dunbar very well.
I'd like to remind everybody about our neighborhood watch program again, second Thursday of every month here, City Hall downstairs at 6:30. I don't know if everybody knows that downstairs got flooded. Beaches down there trying to tear up the floor, and it'll be well at it for several weeks, so we'll probably end up having it up here in council chambers, and probably not downstairs, depending on how that stuff gets down here. So it's second Thursday of every month, the neighborhood watch program at 6:30. Also, I'd like to thank Pearson's and a lot of hardworking people that's been going around cleaning up the city when they're running the flower beds, the women's club, everything, everybody's been working hard together. There's a couple of individuals here, Matt, been getting on his weed whacker, going around, helping clean up too. Thank y'all for making the city look really nice. We really appreciate it. We don't know what to do without you guys, but thank y'all very much for what you're doing.
Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We know you're interested in what's going on in the city. We want to let you know and let you have your say on it too, so we can take it into consideration. So thanks for coming out tonight. That's what I've got.
Hey, Steve, real quick, I'm sorry, can I just, one thing, on June 3rd, Monday night's the next council meeting, but the Dunbar Library is having the 110th Knox County Library birthday party. And we're also having the kickoff to the summer reading programs from 6 to 8 at the Dunbar Library, entertainment, refreshments, games, stuff like that, so.
Again, we'd like to thank Ben for coming out. Like I said, if you got any questions, I'm sure he can be glad to answer.
Mr. Mayor, for the good of the order, if there is no other city business, I move that we adjourn this meeting.